blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Wednesday, March 12th. Your top story, on leave after not handling missing ballots.
I'm Jessica Tighe. Another federal agency sees job cuts.
A little bit of a warm-up today as compared to yesterday. Mostly sunny and a high of 53. Clear tonight and a low of 32. Mid-50s for your high on Thursday. 37 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:01. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, Madison City Clerk Mary Beth Witzel-Bell has been placed on administrative leave.
The move comes amidst an ongoing investigation by the city and the Wisconsin Elections Commission into how 193 ballots went uncounted during the 2024 general election. Madison City Attorney Ben Huss will fill in for Witzel-Bell while the investigation continues. Last week, the Elections Commission voted to force Madison City workers to sit for depositions. That list is expected to include Witzel-Bell. The commission meets later this afternoon to consider further action relating to the missing ballots. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The Department of Education is the latest government agency facing major cuts from the Trump administration. Roughly half of the DOE staff are being let go. President of the National Education Association, Becky Pringle, says funding for underserved and special needs students will plummet.
Our teachers who are in special education, teaching our students with disabilities, they won't have access to those services that are provided directly from the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. They won't have the direct help.
The Trump administration says the cuts are to streamline the agency. It also says critical programs like Pell Grants and student loans will not be impacted.
Training for school resource officers continues as the deadline looms to have them in place for Milwaukee Public Schools. Training through the National Association of School Resource Officers began Monday for 38 officers and will finish one day before Saturday's court-imposed deadline. Director of Operations Mac Hardy tells TMJ4 News the officers play a vital role in a child's learning experience.
We're there to make sure these students' learning environment is safe for them to learn in.
The city and MPS have agreed to split the cost of implementing SROs 50-50.
Ukrainian and Polish officials confirm that U.S. arms deliveries to Ukraine have resumed. The deliveries come a day after the Trump administration lifted its suspension of military aid for Kiev in its war against Russia. And after Ukrainian officials signaled they were open to a 30-day ceasefire backed by Washington. A Kremlin spokesperson says Moscow is waiting on more information about the proposal from the U.S.
Appleton International Airport will open 3 new gates in anticipation of extra travelers during the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay. The new gates, part of a larger concourse project that, when finished, will be able to accommodate larger planes. Outagamie County Executive Tom Nelson says the expansion is vital for the region.
That supports 3,000 jobs in our community and generates about $700 million worth of economic activity every year.
Last year, Appleton International recorded 1 million plus travelers for the first time in its history. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed results today. The Dow currently down about 150 points at 41,284. The NASDAQ is up about 180 points at 17,615. S&P 500 up about 20 at 5593. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
The NFL league year and free agent signing period begins in just hours. We're looking ahead next. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
Are you looking for a new car or truck? Well, good news. Inventories have really improved lately, and I have a few ideas to help you find the vehicle of your dreams. I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. The first step to getting that car of your dreams is to visit any of the 115 Adam member dealerships, where you can see their selection in person and take test drives. You can also find out about the new cars they have on order and reserve the one you want. Or if you really want to get the exact car you're dreaming of, they can order it for you. It might take a few weeks for delivery, but hey, wouldn't it be nice to have the perfect vehicle built just for you? This is your chance. Plus, if you're thinking of trading in your current car or ending your lease early, you'll be amazed at what dealers are offering. And if you prefer to handle the negotiations and paperwork remotely, no problem. Most Adam dealers will even bring cars to you for test drives. So don't wait. Start your search now. Find an Adam member dealer near you at adamm.com.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors. Grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com to learn more.
The latest gift with purchases arrived at your local Merle Norman Cosmetics, including Foundation Primer Plus, Soft Touch Eyeshadow Duo, Lasting Cheek Color, and Plush Lip Liner and Pinky Swear. You'll take it everywhere you go. Shop in studio now and take a look at our Spring Berry Cherry Color Collection at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square. Free with the purchase of 2 or more Merle Norman Cosmetic products. Cosmetic accessories not included. Offer valid while supplies last at participating Merle Norman Cosmetic Studios only. Limit 1 per customer. We reserve the right to modify the gift if needed. Promotion not available at merlenorman.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers today, but progress for starter Brandon Woodruff, who made his first start since 2023 in a minor league appearance against the Padres.
17 months and finally getting back out there. It was an emotional day, I would say, early on today, just being around the guys and with the support and everything. I know it's just a minor league game, but it means a lot.
Woodruff faced 5 batters. He's hopeful to appear in a Cactus League game before spring training ends. The NFL League year and free agent signing period begins this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Aaron Rodgers reportedly drawing interest from the Steelers and New York Giants. Both teams are on the Packers' schedule for the upcoming season. And in college basketball, the Marquette Golden Eagles begin Big East tournament play Thursday afternoon, a 1:30 tip against Xavier. The Badgers begin playing the Big Ten tournament Thursday afternoon about 1:30 against the winner of tonight's game between Northwestern and Minnesota.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. No big crashes, but I do want to let you know Wisconsin 175 north, just a little bit beyond I-94 east. Expect some lane closures. There's some debris in the road. I can't see it on the cameras, but that's what DOT is saying. There is some debris that they need to get cleaned up. So, Wisconsin 175 north, just a little bit before I-94 east. You can expect lane closures because they've got to clean that up.
A little bit of a warm-up today. It's mostly sunny with a high of 53, overnight low of 32. Thursday's high 58 under partly cloudy skies. Could touch 70 inland on Friday. Some storms expected at night. Scattered showers on Saturday and a high of 57. It is 37 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
So today is the kind of day where I'm constantly hitting refresh on my X feed. You may have known this, Jessica, but I'm kind of a sports geek.
Shocker. Justin.
I kind of lean into that a little bit. So today is the day where things officially start happening in the NFL, but it's a day to hit refresh because the action over the last couple of days has been pretty brisk. There's still the whole question of where will Aaron Rodgers sign? Does he even want to play? You've got some veteran quarterbacks looking for work, but I find it interesting. The Steelers and Giants, potential suitors here for Aaron Rodgers, both teams on the Packers' schedule for next year. Not sure what date yet or where those games will be played specifically, but yeah, that'd be something, the Packers facing off against their former quarterback.
So if it starts at 3 p.m. our time and you're already hitting refresh, does that mean you're looking for the leaks right now? Every once in a while you get a leak. Something goes out on Twitter like this is going to happen.
Yeah, so things can become official today. The NFL has this oxymoronic legal tampering period where it allows you to agree to terms on a deal prior to the league year beginning, but those deals don't become official until after 3 o'clock this afternoon. I know it's kind of confusing. Packers also have a big question with regard to their former Pro Bowl cornerback, Jair Alexander. Jason Wilde is going to join us on this day of the NFL year beginning, coming up at 12:15. 11:10 on WTMJ, and some big stories that we're following here this morning.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, President Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum are now in effect. 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports into the U.S. from Canada went into place overnight. The tariffs are an additional charge U.S. companies will have to pay on these imports, and many companies have already said they'll have to pass on those higher costs to us, the consumer. The Trump administration has been pushing back the economic criticism that these tariffs will ultimately hurt the U.S. economy. The president says any negative impacts will be temporary. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it will ultimately make U.S.-based manufacturing stronger.
If you don't have steel and aluminum, you can't build warships. You can't build airplanes. You're not an industrial economy. There are things we have to be able to protect, and there's a lot of unfair trade practices.
The European Union quickly announced it will retaliate with steps that will take effect April 1st. The response? Countermeasures worth 26 billion euros.
Number 2, the latest consumer price index reveals a hint of positive economic news as inflation is showing signs of slowing down.
The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% on a seasonally adjusted basis in February. That's well below what analysts were expecting and less than half the rate of January. Over the past 12 months, the All Items Index increased by 2.8%, also below expectations.
ABC's Jim Ryan, the better-than-expected numbers can be attributed to a couple of factors here. Grocery prices largely flat for the month, and gas prices have been on the decline. Stock markets reacting mixed today. Favorable early. The Dow is now down a little over 100 points after 3 weeks of decline. Economists warn, however, it could be the calm before the storm. The implementation of tariffs could drive those prices up. So we'll see how it reacts, but those CPI numbers, hint of positive news.
Number 3, we're coming, Sonny and Butch. A NASA SpaceX crew is headed to the International Space Station today on a mission that will allow the stuck astronauts to return to Earth. This is basically the first step in bringing Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore home. They're the pair that flew Boeing's troubled capsule to the ISS. Remember this? It was safe enough to get them there, but then problems popped up, and it was thought too risky to have them come back home in it. Sonny and Butch were supposed to be up in space for just 10 days. That turned into 9 months. President Trump talked about this day.
We're coming up to get you. I've authorized Elon. I said, can you get them out? Because, they've been left up there. I hope they like each other.
And then he said this.
Maybe they'll love each other. I don't know.
Okay, that was a little awkward, but okay.
All right, fair enough.
What? Bottom line, the journey to bring Sonny and Butch back home, back to Earth, starts today, assuming all goes as planned.
11:14 on WTMJ. Coming up next, we go to Green Bay. Ben Allen is the Green Bay police captain. They've got a major event coming in the NFL draft in a little over a month and a major security plan to implement and execute. The latest, what you need to know after this.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Vince Vitrano for Connect Chiropractic. Winter shoveling, hibernating, being a couch potato. Chiropractic can help bring back your energy. Headaches, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. How quickly you can see results will vary from person to person, but time and repetition is key to staying on the right track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. At Connect Chiropractic, they use an instrument called the Integrator that allows them to be gentle and specific with all their adjustments. New location coming soon to Oak Creek. Get started at goconnectchiro.com.
Lots of sun today, a high of 53 degrees, overnight low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies and a high of 58. Could touch 70 inland on Friday. Expect some rain at the evening hours. Could linger into Saturday morning. Saturday's high just 57. It's 37 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:16. 43 days, 7 hours, 43 minutes, and 17 seconds.
The countdown is on.
To the NFL draft in Green Bay. Maybe the largest event ever in our state's history. Think about the RNC and how big that was. You've had those Super Bowl parades and whatnot go through Green Bay, but this is something unlike anything I think we've ever seen. Quarter of a million people expected in Green Bay for the 3-day event.
It's going to be a blast, but there's a lot of planning involved.
No doubt about that. And you have to think about security. If you're going to the draft, and it is a free event, we told you last week, make sure you download that One Draft app for the NFL. It's got all the information you need and some security, instances you want to be aware of with what you can bring and what you can't bring. But this is a comprehensive plan being pieced together, and it's a matter of time before it's fully executed. Wanted to welcome in Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen here. He's on the forefront of executing the plan in Green Bay for the upcoming draft. Captain Allen, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So when did you begin working on the security plan? How soon after the announcement was made?
Really, we're about 24 months into our planning. We started right away when we found out that we were going to host this event. Reached out to some partners in Kansas City and worked extensively with Detroit PD in this planning process.
So what does the safety plan include? Who and what's involved?
Well, there are everything from, the timing of the events to gate entrances to, determining how many people are going to come through each gate. Looking at what occurred in the past several drafts as far as attendance and any law enforcement related issues, any big concerns, scouring the internet for chatter about the draft. We are anything and everything that is out there related to public safety, we're trying to make sure we consider.
Are you guys also using things like drones and helicopters up in the sky?
We have a very comprehensive security plan, and it really includes just about anything we could think of to make sure that we provide the safest event possible.
Captain Allen, you mentioned working with folks in Kansas City and Detroit, recent hosts of this massive event. Will any be on site in Wisconsin to assist with executing the plan this year? Is there value in having them come through?
We don't have any plans of hosting either Kansas City or Detroit here during, but we have worked really extensively with Detroit PD and their event staff. I had been talking with the captain, who then became a commander over in Detroit, quite often through the early stages of the planning process. And that kind of, dwindled off a little bit, but I know he's a phone call away if I need any assistance with this process.
Any specific challenges Green Bay faces when it comes to security versus other cities that have hosted the draft?
I think we're very fortunate to have to be hosting and holding the draft where we are. Lambeau Field is a very familiar space to us. We work that for obviously every Packer home game and other events that happen in that area. So we're very confident we can handle what is coming for us. We're also very familiar with the Titletown District through our partners with the Ashwaubenon Public Safety and also the Resch Complex through our partnership with Brown County Sheriff's Office.
Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen joining us here in Wisconsin's Midday News. You mentioned game day, right? I think we're familiar with what a game day at Lambeau looks like and the security presence there. How does this even compare? Can you scale it for us, comparing the security plan for the draft with a typical game day in Green Bay?
Sure. A lot of the NFL best practices are going to be applied to this event as well. And when I talk about best practices, it's the metal detector screening of all guests that come in, clear bag policies, not being able to bring certain items into the footprint, going through, again, the metal detectors and x-ray machines for bags. All of those pieces that we do for game days will be very similar to how we do this for this event. It is a much bigger space, without a doubt, but we are, and it's very different. We're not, we know that for game days, people show up at a certain time and they all leave at the same time as well. For this, it'll be probably rush early on in the event, and then throughout the day, people trickling in and out of the footprint. So while there are some similarities in process, this will be a very different type of event for us.
One big question here for you, Captain. Are people going to be able to park in yards for the draft?
Absolutely. That's one of the iconic things about our stadium being right in the middle of neighborhoods. The neighborhood parking is going to be encouraged, and is actually one of the biggest parts of our transportation and parking plan.
I love it. It's always kind of interesting. It's like, oh, well, okay, they've got $25 there, $30 there. Where should we park? And people have fun. And then sometimes they've got the coolers out there. They've got some water for you, too. That Green Bay hospitality. I imagine, too, something else. I mean, you're thinking about and planning for security. Also, though, are you thinking about the roads and just that drive? A lot of people will be driving up from Milwaukee and other places to get to the draft. There's going to be more traffic.
Yep, there is a very, very robust traffic plan to include detours, heavy signage throughout the highway system coming into the Green Bay area. We all know those flashing overhead signs that give you updates on road conditions. We'll be utilizing those for directions and easier access to the footprint. So the traffic plan is very robust, and we're pretty pleased with how that came out.
I'm a big fan of using Freedom as sort of my bypass of the freeway. All the people in Freedom are going to be mad at me now, and it's going to have more traffic going through there. But you have to seek alternate routes, to your point. And there's certainly a lot of challenges when it comes to an event this big. What if there's 350,000 people, Captain Allen, right? Instead of 250,000 people. Is the plan scalable? Can it handle more than what's being projected in terms of population and attendees?
Absolutely. I look at if we're at where our projections are now with that 250,000, that's like a game day over the 3 days. So about 83,000 or so per day over the 3 days. If we bump that up by another, couple 100,000 over the 3 days, I think we're in pretty good shape. The space stays the same; that doesn't expand. We have the space covered very efficiently and effectively. And I think we'll be able to host a very safe event.
Well, if you're giving your best advice to fans attending the draft, what do they need to know? What was top on the list for you to want to communicate with our fans who might be attending?
Sure. It's really that know before you go concept. Utilize all of the social media that's out there, from what the Green Bay Police Department will be posting, the city of Green Bay. You mentioned the NFL One Pass. That is going to be a treasure trove of information for those attending, from parking to restaurants to when things are happening on the footprint space. So it's really diving into those things. Patience is going to be a big one. Patience getting into the footprint, parking, all of those pieces. But really come for a fun event, a family-focused football festival. And then this amazing production of the draft itself will be that backdrop for us.
I want to know if they're drawing straws at the station about who gets to stand next to Goodell on stage and who has to be out near the porta potties.
Well, there's a lot of posturing about, hey, do you need someone to do this? Or, hey, I'd love to do that. So there's some of that posturing, but we'll work through those things and just make sure every one of those important pieces is covered.
Well, we hope you don't get porta potty duty. No police officers need to do that. Come on, Greg.
Right.
Well, it's a very interesting event that's going to be in Green Bay in a little bit over a month. The countdown is certainly on, but it's been an ongoing process here for those involved in the security of this massive event. Green Bay Police Captain Benjamin Allen, appreciate your time.
Thanks,
we'll
Captain.
Hopefully see you in Green Bay.
Thank you.
It's 11:25 on WTMJ. I'm fascinated by this event coming to Green Bay. We'll never get a Super Bowl. There will never be a Super Bowl in Green Bay. I cannot imagine in any way, shape, or form. But next best thing may be, I've watched drafts and how it just sort of takes over massive cities, taking over Nashville a few years ago, a great football city in Kansas City, overtaken by fans from around the country and around the world. You'll see jerseys from all different teams, right? Not just Packers fans. So I'm fascinated to see how they pull it off.
All of a sudden, as you were saying that, I was thinking it'd be so fun to be in that little pocket of fans. You know, each team's got that pocket that's all decked out. I mean, certainly Green Bay Packers fans are. As I was thinking about that, wasn't Steve Scafidi in that group a few years back? We've got to ask him about that. I feel like I remember watching the draft, and then they were going over, it's Green Bay's time to pick, and they showed that crowd shot.
You are right, and I forgot what city it was.
Yeah.
If it was Kansas City or Nashville, you know what? He might still be here. I'll text him. We'll find out. We'll share it with you coming up.
Talk about that.
It's 11:26 on WTMJ. We've got news coming up in just a bit.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Greg Matzek here. I want to tell you about my good friends at Siding Unlimited. They keep winning awards. That's right. Siding Unlimited recently recognized by Pella again as their National Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year. That's an award. It's a national award, and it's only presented to the best of the best, and that's Siding Unlimited. 5th time that Pella has recognized Siding Unlimited with this top national honor. Why would you go anywhere else for installation of those incredible windows? Connect with Siding Unlimited for any of a number of ways to beautify your home's exterior, windows, doors, roofing, siding. Ask them about paver projects, decking projects, outdoor kitchens. It's some beautiful landscape lighting installed at our home, done by our friends at Siding Unlimited. Quality, family-run business. They do it the right way. Visit sidingunlimited.com or bring some pictures and ideas out to their showroom in Brookfield. 665 Larry Court near Gerke's Corners. It's Siding Unlimited.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhart Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhart Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhart.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spirit wear is vital. That's why Burkhart Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spirit wear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spirit wear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhart.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, our weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market and how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us is Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, we talked for quite some time about the disruption that mergers and acquisitions in the insurance industry can
All
cause.
of this tariffs.
What does 2024 look like, and what do you see ahead for 25?
Thanks, Vince. Great to be here. It was another incredibly busy year for mergers and acquisitions in our space. Over 750 agents and brokers chose to sell their business in 2024, and that follows 833 deals in 2023.
So, Jeff, remind us again why that's important for folks who are listening right now.
Vince, when your agent or broker sells their business, it means uncertainty, disruption, and in many cases, new relationships. Does any of this sound desirable if you're a business owner or a homeowner looking for guidance? New owners have new demands on the acquired business. New systems mean employees and sales staff will be internally focused for extended periods of time. The focus becomes very much internal, away from the customer, as those acquired organizations figure out who's in charge, what systems are we going to use, and what does my future role look like going forward? Wisconsin agencies and brokers haven't been immune to this activity and distraction either. Lots of activity in our state. We've even seen a few organizations on their second new owner in just a couple of years.
Jeff, I've heard you say it before. We are not for sale. Give us a recommendation for R&R insurance.
Vince, we're fiercely independent. We've been family-owned for almost 50 years. Independent means we make our own decisions. This allows us to be client-focused and direct our energy and resources toward client value, not private equity returns or shareholder returns. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience with a top 100 agency in the country, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, March 12th. Your top story, a teen bound for trial in Racine County.
I'm Jessica Tighe. What tariffs really mean for our economy.
Mostly sunny today, a high of 53. Pleasant temperatures, 44 near the lake. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 32. 59 your high on Thursday, under partly cloudy skies. 37 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:31. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a 15-year-old boy charged with killing his mother is bound for trial. Reed Galinsky faces one felony count of first-degree intentional homicide. He may have been inspired by a Netflix documentary on the Menendez brothers when he allegedly hit his mother with a dumbbell before repeatedly stabbing her in the Franksville home. Galinsky's bail has been set at $1 million. He'll return to court in June.
A teenager arrested in Kansas for theft of his dead stepfather's property is now in the Waukesha County Jail and makes his initial appearance in court this afternoon. 17-year-old Nikita Kassup is charged with stealing his stepfather Donald Mayer's car and handgun. No charges have been filed related to the deaths of Mayer or Kassup's mother, Tatiana. Both were found dead earlier this month in their Waukesha home.
A former Lincoln County correctional sergeant charged with assaulting an inmate. Jason Meister slammed a female inmate's head into a window, then assaulted her, resulting in multiple injuries back in late February. Surveillance footage captured the attack, leading to Meister's firing and criminal charges. He faces up to 7 years in prison.
Tariff fears continue to cause major stock fluctuations. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano.
All of this tariffs mean people are buying products that reduces the GDP, and that's exactly what happened.
Spano says if the U.S. sees 2 quarters of back-to-back negative GDP because of these tariffs, it could lead to a recession.
Well, Medicare does not currently cover prescription drugs for weight loss. Columbia St. Mary Hospital's emergency physician, Dr. Christopher Ford, on Spanning the State, talks about the real cost to health care.
We're seeing savings of about $175 up to $200 billion, a 10-year span for patients that could potentially benefit from these medications, right? And so that's a reduction in heart attacks. That's a reduction in strokes, right? Liver failure, things of that nature. And so, this is low-hanging fruit and it, as I will say, it has bipartisan support in a lot of places too.
Prescription weight loss drugs are covered by some private insurance.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:33.
The latest gift with purchase has arrived at your local Merle Norman Cosmetics, including Foundation Primer Plus, Soft Touch Eyeshadow Duo, Lasting Cheek Color, and Plush Lip Liner and Pinky Swear. You'll take it everywhere you go. Shop in studio now and take a look at our spring Berry Cherry color collection at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square. Free with the purchase of 2 or more Merle Norman Cosmetic products. Cosmetic accessories not included. Offer valid while supplies last at participating Merle Norman Cosmetic studios only. Limit 1 per customer. We reserve the right to modify the gift if needed. Promotion not available at merlenorman.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContractingWI.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. 0 wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? TriCountyContractingWI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Celebrity or Holland America, or design your own bucket list adventure with Globus. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. A day off for the Brewers. Progress for Brandon Woodruff. Made his first start since 2023 in a minor league appearance against the Padres.
It's 17 months and finally getting back out there. It was an emotional day, I would say, early on today, just being around the guys and with the support and everything. I know it's just a minor league game, but it means a lot.
5 batters did Woodruff face. He's hopeful to appear in a Cactus League game before spring training comes to an end. And a big day in the NFL. The league year-end free agent signing period begins this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Aaron Rodgers reportedly drawing interest from the Steelers and New York Giants.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Middle of the work week here, Wednesday. We're looking good. There are no crashes on the big board as I check it out. We have a couple disabled vehicles in Milwaukee County, but really they're not causing any issues. They're not too far from each other either. I-41, 45 south at the ramp from Good Hope Road. Right shoulder is blocked there due to a car that's broken down. And then also a disabled vehicle on the ramp from Hampton Avenue to 4145 north.
Lots of sun today and a high of 53 degrees, overnight low of 32. Mostly sunny on Thursday with a high of 59. Little update to that forecast. It said partly cloudy. Not a big difference between partly cloudy and mostly sunny, but mostly sunny sounds a little bit better. Friday, partly cloudy, windy, some storms expected at night. Could touch 70 degrees inland. 37 degrees. Temps on the rise here in Milwaukee at 11:36. Well, the NTSB is calling for immediate changes at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Let's go back to January, the mid-air collision between an American airline jet carrying and killing 67 people, colliding with a Black Hawk helicopter. Following the accident, it was learned about the traffic patterns in that area. It's a very busy area, and it's causing the NTSB to review its policies and procedures. Wanted to welcome in ABC's Peter Haralambous. Peter, what are we looking at here? Will traffic be restricted in that area?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So these planes will continue to use those same runways, but those military helicopters, which have for years kind of used that airspace over the Potomac, will not be allowed to take that same route when 2 critical runways at Reagan National are in use. The NTSB made this recommendation yesterday, warning that those helicopter routes, the same ones that led to that tragic collision earlier this year, pose what they called an intolerable risk to aviation safety.
Intolerable. I mean, a situation that is so bad, it cannot go on. What are these close proximity events? Of course, we know about the crash, but for these other ones, at what point do you decide something called a close proximity event is way too dangerous to continue to allow?
I mean, I'll say as a person who travels frequently by air, none of these are particularly comforting to hear about. But let's just look at the numbers for a second. Between October 2021 and December 2024, there was about 1 million flights into Reagan National Airport. During that same time frame, there were 15,000 close proximity events. That's a plane and a helicopter getting within 400 feet of each other vertically. There were also 85 instances when they were only 200 feet away from each other vertically. Now, that doesn't seem like a huge distance per se, but when you think about it in the context of these airplanes and these helicopters flying at hundreds of miles per hour, that is a matter of seconds between life and death with these kind of near-miss incidents.
So you have great numbers there. Does the FAA not study that data? Did the FAA know and not do anything about it earlier?
No, that's a huge concern, especially for Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. The fact that we knew about this for years, and it took this tragic incident to actually inspire some kind of change. Why did it get to that point? Why didn't they look at this data earlier and say changes need to come? And does this mean that there are similarly concerning statistics about other airports in the United States? I mean, these are all major questions that the Transportation Secretary is asking. I know they're using AI to look into about a dozen airports to spot similar trends, but when you look at those concerning numbers, it really doesn't add much confidence to this idea that when you get on a plane in the United States, you're guaranteed for safe travel.
Well, and it's coming at a time there are fewer and fewer air traffic controllers, too. So to have an eye on that, it's becoming more complicated around the country.
Yeah, that's a major concern because there's been this years-long shortage. There's a generational gap in a way within air traffic controllers, and they're having trouble filling those ranks. They're finding trouble finding people who are willing to take on this difficult job, knowing how mentally stressful, how taxing it can be, and how understaffed a lot of these air traffic control towers are. We understand that the Transportation Department is trying to fast-track the process for hiring and recruiting air traffic controllers, adding some financial incentives there, but overall, this is a problem we've known about for years that has gone unaddressed and that poses a significant risk, according to the NTSB, to the safety of passengers across the country.
You mentioned a little bit about what Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said. He also said our systems, air traffic control, are old, but they're safe. He mentioned that they're still using headphone jacks, and I thought, okay, well, we use headphone jacks here, too, at the station. But he also said they're using floppy disks. Floppy disks. Yeah. I mean, I was beyond the floppy disk when I was editor-in-chief of the Brookfield East Spartan Banner in the late 90s. It makes you wonder, what on earth are they using floppy disks for in 2025?
Yeah, it's really some remarkable stuff in terms of what kind of technology they're using. Yes, it is safe. It's proven. That's one thing. This technology has been time-tested in a way, but it's not particularly comforting given how advanced technology has gotten, how much technology exists that could theoretically improve this, and we're still using this outdated technology that notably works, but could be significantly improved. I know that is a thing that the Transportation Secretary is looking into. Trump has touted how Elon Musk is involved in this and how he's trying to bring some tech into the space. But again, we're talking about, incidents across the country that the FAA should have been aware of. And it seems like every other day there's one of these near-miss incidents where, if you recall, even a few weeks ago, that incident out of Chicago where one of these near misses was actually caught on camera, where you could see a Southwest flight trying to land as a private jet was crossing the runway, and that Southwest flight had to divert suddenly. None of these are adding confidence, while the entire commercial aviation industry, in a way, is facing a bit of a crisis of confidence.
Is some of the talk about using artificial intelligence to analyze all this data moving forward?
It is. They're rolling out that AI technology to look at data from, I believe, 12 airports nationwide. The hope is that they can spot these trends earlier before an incident happens. But just to come back to Reagan for a second and those numbers we talked about earlier, over the last decade, so between 2011 and 2024, there was an incident like this. Once a month, according to the NTSB.
Jeez.
There was an incident in which these flights were getting what's called a traffic alert and collision avoidance system alert. Literally, that's the highest warning you can get, saying, please change something now or you're going to collide with something. That was happening once a month. And nevertheless, we're waiting until now to see these kind of changes.
Yeah, not inspiring a lot of confidence for those getting on airplanes, traveling about, especially headed into spring break time. We appreciate it. Peter Haralambous from ABC News, investigative reporter. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Coming up next, the life and legacy of a Bucks great, Junior Bridgman, passing away yesterday at the age of 71. Listen to what another NBA Hall of Famer has to say about Bridgman's influence. We'll have you after this.
Things are getting even cheaper at Fleet Farm during Chick Days, March 6th through the 12th. We've got the most popular poultry breeds, all at the best prices guaranteed. Plus, get great deals on other chickening needs too, like 20% off Little Giant feeders and waterers. 40 pounds of Nature Wise protein crumble is on sale for $16.99. And Kamek and Tamarack boots for the coop are all 25% off. Eggers, Leghorns, Reds. Now's the best time to get them during Fleet Farm Chick Days.
Hey, if you're looking for something to do tonight, head off to Potawatomi Sportsbook. I'll be there with the weekly wager from 6 to 7 o'clock on 94.5 ESPN, and we are gearing up for college basketball. The best place to watch college basketball in the month of March, or really anytime, it's at Potawatomi Sportsbook. 2,000-square-foot video wall. You know they got a bunch of games on at the same time. That's what it's going to be like when the real main event begins a little later this month. You want to watch the magic happen? Do it at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Your place to catch all the high-flying action, the massive video wall, the kiosks for sports betting on the quick, excellent drink specials, great food. It really is a basketball fan's paradise. Nothing like it. Bet above the rest. Do it at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Celebrate a birthday, anniversary, or retirement this week with a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill. Buy one dinner, get one free, 7 nights a week. Google Fox and Hounds Restaurant and enjoy your free dinner.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Nice day today, a high of 54 degrees, lots of sun, overnight low of 32. Tomorrow, sun back in the forecast and a high of 58. Could touch 70 inland on Friday with storms expected later in the evening. It's 38 degrees, temperatures on the way up here in Milwaukee at 11:46. It was so sad to hear the news yesterday of Junior Bridgman's passing at the age of 71. His number 2 hangs in the rafters at Fiserv Forum. Nobody will ever wear it again for the Milwaukee Bucks. Had an outstanding college career in Louisville, and that's where Bridgman was. He was attending an event, as he did so many times, as a NBA veteran, historic player, and an incredible businessman, giving back to the community that gave him so much as a collegiate athlete. Suffering an issue with his heart and later passing away at the age of 71. Very sad to hear that yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was crushing for so many people. And then it was also an opportunity for those who are younger Bucks fans who didn't know him so much to kind of learn a little bit about him. I thought it was interesting. Doc Rivers was reflecting on his career as a coach, and he said, you should want to be like Junior Bridgman. He said he is the exact model that the league should use every day when talking to young players. And he was talking about how it was a really tough day when he got the snooze. And he said there are a lot of benefits of coming back to Milwaukee for Doc that he didn't anticipate. And one of them was Junior coming back into the mix, right? Being part owner. And he said he kind of restarted their relationship. I guess they stayed in contact a little bit, but, they weren't talking often. And apparently they went to the Derby together and things like that. But this kind of hit me, and it makes your heart sink in a way. He said the last conversation, this is Doc talking about Junior Bridgman, he said the last conversation that they had was using Junior as a mentor to young players. That's what Doc wanted to do. But he said he never got to it. They never got around to that because they thought there would be more time.
He is a model for what to do after your playing career, right? And you see these stories all the time about, millionaire athletes who go broke 5 years after their playing career ends. They don't know what to do. The wild spending continues like they were playing. Well, Junior became a billionaire as a businessman, became a millionaire as a basketball player, but a billionaire as a businessman. Wide-ranging impact. You had an outpouring of comments on social media yesterday from the likes of Magic Johnson and Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
And the Bucks had a national TV broadcast last night taking on the Pacers, and even Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Famer, right? Shaq is larger than life on how he learned what to do following his playing career from Bridgman.
A lot of people don't know this, but I've patterned my whole business acumen after Junior Bridgman. They always tell us stories about how 75% of athletes 0 to 5 years after they're done playing, go broke. And I never wanted to be that. So I always started looking at people, Michael, of course, Magic. But I remember one time the Forbes list came out and I was like, oh, I know I'm on this list, all the commercials I do. And I saw his name. I reached out to him and we started talking. And, he had Wendy's. I started Big Chicken, Pepsi and Coke. So everything that he did, I tried to pattern after him. I just talked to him the other day because we were getting ready to do business. So my condolences goes out to his partner, Charles, to his family, his daughter, his son. But this one really hit hard for me because he was definitely somebody that I looked up to.
Growing up, I remember going to Bucks games at the Bradley Center, and you'd get a free Frosty with a Bucks win, right? Take that ticket stub to your participating Wendy's, and you get a Frosty. That was part of Junior's influence in his partnership with the team he played for.
Well, and I didn't know that was part of Junior's thing because they still do that sometimes. I mean, even this year, it was like, hey, Bucks win, you can go get a free Frosty from Wendy's.
Owned over 400 restaurants, Chili's and Wendy's to be specific. Several golf tournaments that I participated in, the Mac Fund outing every year at Tuckaway. There was always a Chili's margarita station. And what I found just so appealing and amusing is that Junior would spend time at the tent. He was an accessible billionaire. You have no idea you're walking by a billionaire if you walked by or interacted with Junior Bridgman. No way, right? You know him as Junior the player, but my goodness, what he became after his playing career is just as amazing. He was part of the trade that ended up sending Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor, to Los Angeles.
Yeah, big trade.
Right? I mean, 3 weeks after he was drafted by the Lakers, he was traded to the Bucks, Junior Bridgman. Spent 10 of his 12 years playing in Milwaukee. At the time he retired, he was the franchise leader in games played. Giannis surpassed that a couple of years ago. But a wide-ranging impact in Milwaukee, both on the floor and off. Most recently bought a 10% ownership stake in the team.
Yeah, and it's interesting to kind of yesterday I was going through as this was breaking and just looking at some of the comments when the Bucks put out their condolences and a lot of fans just saying, rest in peace, and they were shocked by this. But if you kind of sifted through, it was interesting to see some of the people who were writing. Len Elmore is a name some Bucks fans might be familiar with. Len writes, I'm shocked and saddened. What a marvelous model of business acumen and hard work. Junior was a great 1980 to 81 Milwaukee Bucks teammate, whom I will revere for his demeanor and success in basketball, business, and life. Love and prayers to his family. 80 to 81 Bucks season there.
Yeah, Junior Bridgman passing away at the age of 71.
It isn't about, they went on and made this amount of money or did these things. It's about, did they contribute to society? Were they an example for people to want to be like them, and then they live good lives? And I would say that that's where we had tremendous success that as teams that can't be measured in wins and losses and going forward.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks on demand in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores has been voted the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel's Best in Thrift. So to all who voted for us, thank you. And to those who haven't yet been here, there are so many items to explore. And at thrift store prices, you can find a really great deal. At the same time, you'll be helping us help others, sometimes folks right in your own neighborhood. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Greg and Jessica with you. It's Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ. You ever go see comedy, live comedy?
Yes. In fact, we did in Vegas when I went last year, and it was just a blast.
It can be a lot of fun, right? I do like and appreciate the dimly lit 100 people or so comedy clubs where you're right on top of everything, and if you're in the audience, you're likely to be a part of the show, whether you want to be or not.
That's what happened to my dad.
Oh,
well, that's
no.
what happened to all of us in Vegas, but definitely my dad. And actually, there were people when we were going back that were saying, "Aren't you Milwaukee Mike?" That's how much they remembered the comedy act.
Well, there's a comedy club in London banning audience members who are unable to smile.
The Top Secret Comedy Club says many performers have complained about unresponsive faces in the crowd. The problem? Too many people in the audience have had Botox injected into their faces. The club's owner says comedy thrives off audience reactions and facial expressions are key. He says patrons will now have to submit to facial expression checks at the door to prove their faces can move before they're allowed in. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Now that's funny.
That is hilarious. These comedians were fed up because they're telling some of their best jokes and they're looking out in the audience.
Right, they're seeing plastic faces that can't move.
Nothing. Oh, that's great. I feel like we don't have as much as that. They got to come up here to the Midwest, come up to Milwaukee for some more comedy. I mean, we have it for sure. I mean, definitely, but I feel like it's a little bit better here than it is, say, in L.A.
I've never been to a comedy club in London. I've only been to London once. Comedy was not on the agenda for that particular trip, but I'd be curious to see how this goes at the comedy club. It strikes me as a place that maybe a little smaller than some of your larger arenas, so you're right on top of the action there.
So
if
you
you're
can
on
actually
stage,
see the Botoxed people.
I suppose. So what sort of facial recognition do you go through? Facial expression checks. Did they just see if you can smile at the door? And if you can't smile or if your cheeks don't move the right way, you're not showing teeth, you get the boot?
Well, the other thing that's weird, though, is, I mean, if people are laughing, you can tell if it's a good laugh. I mean, think about it. In our morning meetings sometimes when we have a good laugh, like,
Yes.
versus a...
Right. Botox or not, you'd be able to tell if somebody's laughing, I would think.
And I don't think anybody on our crew has Botox. You don't have Botox,
in our
do you? 'Cause
three-person crew?
You're
No, I've never had Botox.
Yeah. I've thought about it. I could definitely use it on my forehead for my side sleeping wrinkles. But it's just one of those things. It's like once you start, I feel like you're not going back.
Well,
so at this point, I don't want to start.
Wait till after your trip to the Top Secret Comedy Club in London to have that
They'd
done.
let me in. I could laugh.
It's 11:57. Subscribe to the Wisconsin's Midday News Podcast. It's built by Siding Unlimited. Truly Siding and a whole lot more. Text the word Midday to 855-616-1620. We'd love it if you did. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. At Erickson's Landscape Supply, we have durable, maintenance-free polywood patio furniture and #1 grade treated natural pine Amish-made patio furniture. And we also have a wonderful assortment of concrete benches, statues, and fountains available in a selection you just gotta see to believe. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less, plus a whole lot more. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection or stop on in today.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, March 12th. Your top story, training continues for SROs.
I'm Jessica Tighe, remembering a Bucks legend.
Mostly sunny, pleasant today, a high of 53 degrees. Clear tonight, a low of 32, up to 58 on Thursday. 37 degrees, mostly sunny in Milwaukee. At 12 o'clock from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, school resource officer training continues for 38 Milwaukee cops ahead of court-ordered Saturday's deadline to get officers back at MPS. Director of Operations for the National Association of School Resource Officers, Mac Hardy, tells TMJ4 News the job requires a unique skill set.
Dealing with the adolescent brain development, to understand that, to understand where the brain development is on these kids, working with students with disabilities, understanding traumatized kids, and understanding kids while they're in stress.
The officers must complete 40 hours of training and pass an examination with a score of 70% or higher.
The city clerk in Madison was just placed on administrative leave.
The move comes amidst an ongoing investigation by the city and the Wisconsin Elections Commission into how 193 ballots went uncounted during the 2024 general election. Madison City Attorney Ben Haas will fill in for Witzel Bell while the investigation continues. Last week, the Elections Commission voted to force Madison City workers to sit for depositions. That list is expected to include Witzel Bell. The commission meets later this afternoon to consider further action relating to the missing ballots. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
In Greenland, a surprise election result as President Trump eyes the massive...
The center-right Democrat Party winning the most votes in Greenland's parliamentary elections. Their leader had previously said Greenland is not for sale. This comes as U.S. President Trump has said he wants to take control of the island one way or another. The Democrats did not win a majority, meaning they'll likely have to form a coalition government. It was a pro-U.S. party that came in second, recording its best result ever in Tuesday's vote. That party wants a snap referendum on independence and closer ties to the U.S. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News.
Now, Trump has
foreign desk.
Sorry, Inez. Trump has eyes on the massive resource-rich country.
China implements an additional 15% tax on American farm products in response to President Trump's decision to double tariffs on Chinese imports. ABC's Britt Clennett is in Beijing.
Multiple reports in Chinese state media saying that Chinese officials have summoned local Walmart executives here in China for a meeting. That's after reports that Walmart was trying to pressure Chinese suppliers to cut prices by 10%, which would essentially kind of be, passing on these tariffs. Now, Walmart, we haven't heard from them yet, but just the fact that multiple state media outlets have said this, it could be seen as a warning shot by China to Walmart by calling them out publicly.
Canada and the European Union also hit back and increased steel and aluminum tariffs imposed today, with punitive tariffs on American beef, poultry, bourbon, motorcycles, and jeans.
The basketball world and business community remembering and honoring the life of Junior Bridgman. His number 2 hangs from the rafters at Fiserv Forum. He passed away Tuesday with a medical emergency while on stage at a Scouting America event in Louisville. Bucks head coach Doc Rivers says Bridgman was a model of success that all players should aspire to.
When he was an NBA player, if you'd have just met him on the street, you wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have told you. And he didn't act like it. When he became a billionaire, you wouldn't have known, and he would not have told you, and he didn't act like it. The word gentleman is like gentleman. That is as good as you can get with Junior.
Bridgman was 71 years old. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is fighting back here, still down about 85 points at 41,348. NASDAQ surging today, up a couple of hundred points at 17,648. S&P 500 also in the green, up nearly 30 points at 5,600. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
The NFL's free agent signing period begins in just hours. What you can expect up next, sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
From sliding framed, semi-frameless, or frameless glass shower doors to heavy all-glass custom enclosures that can be built to fit any opening, at Less's Glass, we cover all the bases. But our biggest strength isn't only our selection. It's in our installation experience. We've been around nearly 40 years, and you only last that long if your installers leave the job the way your customers expect it to be left. Other places can sell you a glass shower enclosure, and some of those big guys may even be able to do it for a little cheaper. But the question you need to ask yourself is, will the job be done right? So remember, paying for quality only hurts once, but it does feel good when you get what you expect. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Burkhart Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhart. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say,
You can't beat Burkhart.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers today. Good to see Brandon Woodruff on the mound, his first start since 2023. Woodruff threw to 5 batters in a minor league appearance against the Padres.
It's 17 months and finally getting back out there. It was an emotional day, I would say, early on today, just being around the guys and with the support and everything. I know it's just a minor league game, but it means a lot.
NFL League year-end free agent signing period begins this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Aaron Rodgers reportedly drawing interest from the Steelers and Giants. Both teams will be on the Packers' schedule this season. We'll go to Green Bay and check in with Packers reporter and host of Wilde and Tausch, Jason Wilde, coming up at about 12:15.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. No big crashes to let you know about. Great news. Couple disabled vehicles out of the system. The one that's newer that I'll let you know about because it's a big one out there. I-94 East at Wisconsin 164. That's the County J area. The right shoulder is blocked due to a big blue semi that's broken down. So there are definitely cars that are slowing down because this big blue semi is just right there. Not in the middle, of course, but it's that area. It's the right shoulder, but it's also an area where you can veer off to the right to get off on the exit. So in a way, it kind of is right there in the middle. Big blue semi broken down. I-94 East at Wisconsin 164, County J.
Nice day today. Plenty of sun. A high of 53 degrees. Overnight low of 32. Up to 59 degrees on Thursday under mostly sunny skies. Should be a good one. Friday's high 71 inland. 63 near the lake. Might see some rain later in the evening on Friday. It's 38 degrees. A lot of sun in Milwaukee at 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
Wednesday edition, Wisconsin's Midday News, hour number 2. Looking forward to the hour here. Jason Wilde is going to join us coming up in about 6 minutes. Everybody wondering where Aaron Rodgers is going to end up. I mentioned Pittsburgh and the possibility of the Giants. There probably aren't a lot of teams looking for a veteran quarterback who is in his 40s, but all you need is one, and does Aaron even want to play? A big question I think we can compose to Jason.
I think he might end up on an island somewhere.
He might be there right now, as a matter of fact.
True.
Also, we'll go to Washington. Scott McFarland is our CBS congressional correspondent. Our weekly check-in with him. All sorts of things happening in the nation's capital. It's 12:09. We have flipped to the noon hour and some big stories that we're following here today.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Layoffs are on the way at the Department of Education. The department President Trump said he wanted to shut down. About 1,300 staffers have been told they're being let go. That's about half of all the workers at DOE. ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott reports.
Sources say the president has floated the idea of moving some of the agency's work under the Department of Treasury. The president on the campaign trail repeatedly said he wanted to return the power back to the states. It is worth noting that the Department of Education does not decide what is taught in schools. That's already decided at a state and local level.
Education Secretary Linda McMahon says the reductions are the first course of action in shutting down the agency and eliminating bureaucratic bloat.
Well, Milwaukee is currently holding pop-up lead testing clinics for students and community members in partnership with MPS, 16th Street, and Children's Wisconsin. Get tested today between 3 and 5 o'clock at 16th Street Parkway Clinic. They're going to have a pop-up clinic at Bradley Tech High School on March 15th from 9 to 1. Milwaukee Health Commissioner strongly recommends MPS students, especially those 6 and younger, get tested for lead poisoning. Meanwhile, Trowbridge School remains closed due to elevated lead dust levels. 2 lead-poisoned students prompted health officials to test Kegel School and Golda Meir's lower campus earlier this year.
Hey, take note of this one. There's a new way to add your name to the Wisconsin Donor Registry. You can now do it when you fill out your taxes. You'll notice a box on it for your return this year. Just check it and boom, you're on the Wisconsin Donor Registry. The move is an effort to boost the number of registered organ donors in Wisconsin and narrow the gap between supply and demand. I was talking about this earlier, and one of our ESPN guys, he was like, yeah, I saw it, and I wondered if that was new. He's like, I checked it. He already had the sticker on his license. But if you're not already on the registry, this is an easy way. Filling out your taxes, you see that box. If you want to be an organ donor, you just check it.
So I don't remember. I just did TurboTax, right? I filed my taxes, 3 weeks ago. In fact, I already got my refund. How nice. I don't remember it. No, it's in the account right now. I don't remember there being a box or a question about being an organ donor. But I was kind of going by pretty quick at that point. Like I was through all the meaty stuff and just, I don't want to donate to any campaign or whatever. I'm just trying to get this thing done. But that is interesting because previously the only way to do it was as you're filling out your driver's license or getting it renewed.
And you can still do that, but this is a new way, brand new. More than 600 Wisconsin taxpayers have already checked the box to become organ donors through this new effort, but they're obviously hoping for even more before the tax deadline day. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives and help 75 others.
I haven't had to get a new license in a number of years. Mine is probably getting close to being expired. Are they doing it a new way? There's new driver licenses.
They look different. They look kind of fancy.
Yeah,
the real
different.
ID. Is yours a real ID or is it that old that it's not even a real ID?
No, it is a real ID. I am in that world. But is it still a sticker or is there something else on the new IDs?
I believe it's still a sticker.
Still a sticker?
I don't actually have one on mine, but might do it this way.
Okay.
But when Alex showed me, I didn't go and examine it, but he had a sticker.
No. Interesting stuff. 12:12 in WTMJ. We go to Green Bay. It's day 1 of the NFL league year and free agent signing period. It officially opens at 3 o'clock. What might Brian Gutekunst be cooking up? We'll check in with Jason Wilde. Happy New Year to the NFL after this.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Well, spring is quickly approaching, and it's the perfect time for you to get an awning installed, so it's ready once the temps warm up. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Until March 21st, you can receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Nice day today, a high of 53 degrees, plenty of sun, overnight low of 32, mostly sunny on Thursday, and a high of 59 degrees. Warming up a little bit for Friday, 71 the high inland, expect some rain in the evening hours, 63 closer to the lake. 38 degrees, sun is shining in Milwaukee at 12:15. Well, a happy new year to the NFL. The league year and free agent period officially begins today at 3 o'clock. So they have this oxymoronic legal tampering period that leads up to the official start of the NFL season. So
don't do it. Don't tamper.
What happens is well, you're allowed to tamper in this weird world that they've created in the NFL. So you've already heard some rumblings of, agreed to terms with, insert player and team name here. So we know what's coming. The Packers have made some moves, agreements in principle. It can make those signings official today. But what else is there to be done? Because I know today is sort of officially day one, but there's been a lot of groundwork already laid. Who better to talk to than our friend, our teammate, Jason Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Hey, Wilde.
I'm sorry, who is this?
It's good to talk to you again. As events warrant in the offseason, I wanted to keep it a weekly segment, but they're football only, according to those in charge.
Okay, I was going to say, it's been so long, I forgot who you guys even were, but It's great to be back with you. No, of course not, Jessica. I wouldn't forget.
Well,
but it is great to talk to you.
We were on a break, remember? I remember the last time I talked with you. We were going on a break.
Well, a lot has happened here. Jason has become Mr. 3000. It's not just Bernie Mac. Jason is Mr. 3000, writing for our partners and friends at WISC TV.
Yeah, congrats on that, by the way.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. I'm thrilled. They've been great to me, and it's good to have a writing job going into my 30th season after the State Journal decided to stop covering the Packers. So I'm really lucky that I got to join a fantastic team that has been extremely supportive. Now I get to play for two great teams. I get to play for GKB, and I get to play for WISC, so I'm really lucky.
Well, we're glad to have you on here to talk about the start of the league year. I'm curious what you think Packers GM Brian Gutekunst might be cooking up in the lab. What makes sense here?
I think they're going to cut Jair Alexander today. That's what I think. Today's the first day of the league year, starting at 3 o'clock, as you mentioned, Greg. While you could negotiate / legally tamper with players for the last 2 days, you couldn't sign them, but you also could not release players and be able to designate them as post-June 1 cuts until the league year starts. And so, for instance, I don't think Aaron Rodgers technically can be a post-June 1 cut for the Jets. We know that they did release Devontae Adams, and unfortunately, in my opinion, the Packers had no interest in him. But that's a little mechanism that allows you to push a little bit more of the cap charges a year down the road and kick that can a little further down the road. So I think there's a good chance that happens today. But otherwise, it's like you said, they obviously will make those deals with Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks official. And then I think Goody's probably most likely cooking up just ramen noodles in the kitchen. Nothing major, no big, delicious 7-course meal. Now, hopefully he'll surprise me, and they'll say acquire Trey Hendrickson, the really good edge rusher from Cincinnati, who has been given permission to seek a trade. But again, he's 30 years old, and if there's anything we've learned from Goody, he feels like more often than not, unless you're a kicker, if you're older than 30, you're over the hill.
So you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to end up? And does he even want to play? Does he want to continue playing?
I have to think he does. Obviously, there's been some talk about him in negotiations with the Steelers. I can tell you where I want him to play as a storyteller. I want him in Minnesota. It's too delicious to pass that up. And so do I think that that's the likely landing spot? No, because I think they want to give J.J. McCarthy the opportunity to succeed there. They're really excited about him. He basically took a medical red shirt for his rookie season because of knee surgery during training camp, but they liked the early returns that they saw from him in Minnesota. So I don't think the Vikings make as much sense. I know Brett Favre was on Fox News suggesting that he'd like to see Aaron go to the Vikings.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that.
You know, that's not a channel I watch regularly, and that's not someone whose opinion I'm super interested in these days. But nevertheless, it would be a great story, and it would be fascinating for him to follow the exact same arc as Brett Favre, who he used to say he would never turn into.
Right. I mean, Favre played 16 seasons in Green Bay before spinning off with the Jets and the Vikings. So it would be very interesting. I don't know. There's part of me, and I don't know if we've talked with you about this, Jason, but I was telling Greg, there's part of me that just feels like he's so competitive, Aaron Rodgers, and last season just did not go at all as planned. And, you know, the man obviously has an ego. So I just wonder, like, can he come back and have just a really, really crummy season? Like, can he mentally, emotionally deal with that? Like, he doesn't want that, obviously. So it just makes me wonder if, I don't know, does he want to go out that way if that happens?
No, I don't think he does. And the reason why Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense, they just acquired DK Metcalf. They've got a really good defense. That's a good team, and they don't have a clear-cut quarterback to go to, right? They brought in Justin Fields. He now went to the Jets. They brought in Russell Wilson. Sounds like he might end up in New York with the Giants. I don't think that they don't have that young guy that they're grooming to be their next starter like Love was in Green Bay for 3 years behind Rodgers. If I'm a team, I want Aaron Rodgers, who is going to be ultra motivated, who will be much healthier, right? I mean, let's not forget he was coming off a ruptured Achilles at age 41 last year.
True,
so
yeah.
that impacted how he played. I think he'll be better next year than he was this past season. But if I'm an NFL team, I don't have my quarterback. I want to draft a quarterback that's going to be my starter eventually, and I want to have Aaron Rodgers this year and perhaps next year too be my quarterback, that guy can sit behind him. If he stays healthy, I still think he can play. Not at the level he did when he won all those MVPs, but still at a very high level.
Packers reporter Jason Wilde, host of Wilde and Taus, joining us here on Wisconsin's Midday News. So the Packers did make a couple of moves, and they'll make those official here sometime shortly after the league year begins. Wouldn't put them into the category of big splash, Jason, but can you comment on why those moves were made to find an offensive lineman and a cornerback?
Yeah, they fill two very clear needs on their roster, right? I mean, they watched Eric Stokes leave in free agency. I don't think they had any interest in bringing back the 2021 first-round pick. They clearly are going to move on from Jair Alexander. It's just a matter of how and when, but I do not anticipate him being on this team next year. So corner was a need, and Nate Hobbs fits that. They like him. He can play both inside and outside in the secondary. They like that about him. And then Aaron Banks, you know, he's a left guard, and they're going to let their starting center, Josh Myers, walk in free agency. Their plan is to move Elton Jenkins from left guard to center. So that means now you've got your ready-made replacement that you've just paid a big dollar amount to replace him at left guard. But it's also down the road. 3 other offensive linemen, in addition to Josh Myers being a free agent, 3 more are going to be free agents next year. Rasheed Walker, their left tackle, Zach Tom, their right tackle, and Sean Ryan, their right guard. So that is a sneaky position of significant need, both in the short and long term. So that's why Aaron Banks makes sense. I'm guessing you'll see at least one and maybe multiple offensive linemen get drafted as well. They need to replenish that depth chart.
Jason, during our first hour of Wisconsin's Midday News, we were talking with Green Bay Police Captain Ben Allen about security around the draft. You must be getting pumped for the draft.
He didn't mention that he's trying to keep me outside the perimeter or anything, did he? He didn't say anything about me specifically?
He talked about a police escort, as a matter of fact.
Oh, excellent. I would love that because it's going to be hard to get to the building. We can't quite feel it here yet. I have seen a bunch of the kind of construction-type barrels that are being placed now on Lombardy Avenue and on Oneida Street because they're going to be closing off those streets in the next week or so, which I'm sure he went through with you. It's going to be wild. But I did hear something this week that I was a little surprised by. They are not anticipating the level of crowd, and maybe he talked about this with you guys earlier, that they had in Detroit. They were saying in Detroit they had 775,000 people over the 3 days of the draft in Detroit. They're looking at more 250,000 here.
Yeah.
And they think there's going to be a lot of folks that are just going to come up for the day. They're going to drive up from Milwaukee, from Madison, from Chicago, et cetera. So, because one of the things that I worried about was the idea of our tiny little town being overwhelmed by that many people. And so it sounds like they're not anticipating quite the same crush of humanity. And I think it's going to be first class. It's going to be like, I've seen the layout. I'm sure he talked about that with you. It's going to be a really neat experience. But I am, to Greg's point, a little worried about getting into the stadium because that, for the Packers, for Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur and all their scouts and all their coaches and the media, nothing changes. Like, yeah, it's great that it's in Green Bay, but we're all still going to be hunkered down inside the stadium going about our regular business, whether the draft is in Green Bay or, on the moon. So it'll be interesting to see how inconvenient that is for us. But media may start with me in terms of my mentality, but nobody cares how difficult it is to get to the stadium for the media.
Just bring an air mattress, right? Get comfortable. Order some Chinese.
Stay the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I could rent out the house then. They'd have to take care of the dogs and the cats and have to run the girls to all their different sports practices.
Fair enough.
I don't think they're interested.
Looking forward to it. It's about 43 days away. NFL League year begins in just a couple of hours here. Jason Wilde covers the Packers expertly. Host of Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Appreciate it, Jason. Thanks so much. Great to chat.
Great to be back together.
Yeah, I missed you guys. I'm glad we're off our break for one day, I guess. All right, take care. Be good.
You do the same. 12:26 news is coming up in a few.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
As clutch of a player to ever play basketball.
It's game time on Season 4 of Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus.
This year, I was like, I need to impose myself more on this team.
Explore Damian Lillard's journey to becoming a top 75 player in NBA history.
That's what really had me feeling like this is going to be great.
Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker, and H&R Benefits Consultant. Find Bucks Plus on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Debbie Lazaga here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now's the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
The latest gift with purchase has arrived at your local Merle Norman Cosmetics, including Foundation Primer Plus, Soft Touch Eyeshadow Duo, Lasting Cheek Color, and Plush Lip Liner and Pinky Swear. You'll take it everywhere you go. Shop in studio now and take a look at our spring Very Cherry color collection at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square. Free with the purchase of 2 or more Merle Norman cosmetic products. Cosmetic accessories not included. Offer valid while supplies last at participating Merle Norman Cosmetic Studios only. Limit 1 per customer. We reserve the right to modify the gift if needed. Promotion not available at merlenorman.com.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The trade war escalating with U.S.-led tariffs on aluminum and steel kicking in on all countries today. President Trump at the White House hosting Ireland's prime minister defended his hikes, calling other countries' tariffs and counter-tariffs unfair.
Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter what it is. If they charge us 25 or 20% or 10% or 2% or 200%, then that's what we're charging them.
Canada, China, and European Union leaders imposing reciprocal tariffs. Massive layoffs taking place across the education department, the next target of the Trump administration's cutbacks. Roughly 50% of staffers at the DOE being laid off or offered buyouts. Curriculum decisions still taking place, as they always have at local and state levels. Severe storms on tap for the West Coast, raising the risk in Los Angeles County for flooding and debris flow in burn-scarred areas of LA County after wildfires swept through. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:31 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. Tariff fears have sent the stock market spiraling. How long will it last?
With U.S. GDP value taking a nosedive, Wall Street is panicking about the possibility of more tariffs being imposed. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano says the market performance is nothing to get worried about.
All of this tariffs mean people are buying products. That reduces the GDP, and that's exactly what happened.
Spano says these fluctuations tend to impact the economy in the short run.
If we have 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP, well, then we're gonna have a slowdown, and that's why the market is reacting to that.
Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
Markets reacting favorably today. All the indices are in the green as of 12:32.
A former youth tennis coach in Green Bay pleads no contest to child enticement and sexual exploitation. Joshua Denault is accused of having secretly recorded inappropriate videos of underage girls during tennis practice at the Four Seasons Tennis Club in Alloway. Investigators found more than 30 videos believed to have been taken over the course of several years. Denault's sentencing is scheduled for May 20th.
Workers busy expanding Appleton International Airport's main concourse before thousands arrive for the upcoming draft in Green Bay. NBC 26's Noah Cornelius.
The airport says 3 new gates will be open before the draft comes to town. Outagamie County Executive Tom Nelson says the additional traffic is crucial to the airport's growth.
That supports 3,000 jobs in our community
and generates about $700 million worth of economic activity.
Airport Director Abe Weber says the expansion also goes beyond the draft.
Our last big concourse expansion happened in 2000. I guess I'd love to say in another 20 years we'll be doing this again.
The full terminal expansion could be finished by early 2026.
With the NFL draft right around the corner now, what should fans expect? Green Bay Police Captain Ben Allen joined us during the first hour of Wisconsin's Midday News to talk draft security.
Sure, it's really that know before you go concept. Utilize all of the social media that's out there, from what the Green Bay Police Department will be posting, the city of Green Bay. You mentioned the NFL One Pass. That is going to be a treasure trove of information for those attending, from parking to restaurants to when things are happening on the footprint space.
Captain Allen says the draft will be both a family-focused festival and global TV production. The draft starts April 24th in Green Bay.
Day one of the NFL League here. What do the Packers have cooking? Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
Tired of staring at the same old garage door? Vince Vitrano here, Lifetime Door Company, wants to give you a new one for free. Your chance to win by texting GARAGE to the WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. All you need to do is take a picture of your garage door or get creative. Tell us a story. Register to win, and you can pick the door of your dreams. Valued at up to $8,000, text GARAGE to the WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. For contest rules, visit our website, WTMJ.com.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers today, but progress for starter Brandon Woodruff, who made his first start since 2023 in a minor league appearance against the Padres.
It's 17 months and finally getting back out there. It was an emotional day, I would say, early on today, just being around the guys and with the support and everything. I know it's just a minor league game, but it means a lot.
Woodruff faced 5 batters. He's hopeful to appear in a Cactus League game before the end of spring training. NFL League year and free agent signing period begins this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Aaron Rodgers reportedly drawing interest from Pittsburgh and the New York Giants. Both teams will be on the Packers' schedule this season. And a big week of college basketball gets underway tomorrow for state teams. Marquette Golden Eagles begins Big East tournament play Thursday afternoon at 1:30 against Xavier. Badgers men's basketball team begins playing the Big Ten tournament Thursday afternoon at 1:30 against the winner of this afternoon's game between Northwestern and Minnesota.
Let's get an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. If we head down to Racine County, we do have a new crash that just popped up. It's on the exit to 7 Mile Road from 4194 South. Not exactly on the exit, but very close to it. As I'm taking a peek for you here at the cameras, I can see there is a car off in the grassy median. We do have a number of emergency responders already there. Also looks like a tow truck has just pulled up. So hopefully they can quickly get that car out of the greasy median. The greasy. It's not greasy. Well, it might slippery? Be, but it's grassy. Oh. And onto that tow truck and out of there. Not a ton of traffic right now, so that's some good news. But a new crash near the exit to 7 Mile Road from 4194 South. That area is closed right now because of a crash in Racine County.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at Heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
Oh, I like my medians greasy. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny today, a high of 53 degrees. Clear tonight, a low of 32. Sun on Thursday, a high of 59. Friday's high about 70 degrees inland. A little cooler near the lake. Expect some storms in the evening. It'll be slippery. Maybe greasy.
Maybe some oil spilled from the car when it ran off into the grassy median, and now it's grassy and greasy.
That's not a great combination, is it? I don't think it is.
Not great.
38 degrees. It's sunny in Milwaukee at 12:38. Not a lot of grass in the nation's capital, certainly plenty of grease. For that, we welcome in CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. Hello, Scott.
Hey, and thanks for playing me in with music from Las Vegas. That's the group 702, which is Las Vegas's area code, and from 1999, Where My Girls At.
Yeah, I love this one. This is a good one, isn't it? Just makes you want to sing and dance. And were you doing that too? I was doing that when it came on.
Some of us have to be careful yelling those lyrics out, but I know what you mean.
Okay. I feel like this is a wheelhouse song for you, Jessica.
Where My Girls At?
Yeah.
I used to sing this one all the time.
Okay.
But see, the thing is, Scott, where are you right now? Because sometimes you're about to go into court. Sometimes you're inside the Capitol. So, yeah, you can't be just, like, breaking it down to the song right now.
Really, there's no environment in which I can safely yell that out.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm at the U.S. Justice Department. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Kind of a wild day here. A lot of stuff happening here. I want to start with the Department of Education here. Scott, more job cuts, more than 1,000 layoffs, roughly half the Department of Education being sent letters of termination. Is this the beginning of the end, and how is it being received?
It's kind of the beginning of the end. I mean, the U.S. Education Department is actually, by the standards of the federal government, it's pretty small. It has about 4,000 employees. You know, the VA has about 500,000. So there's different sizes and scopes here. The Trump administration can't close the Education Department without Congress approving it. Congress is not going to approve that. They don't have the votes. But what the Trump team can do is starve it, shrink its workforce, shrink its operations, and they're doing that beginning today, laying off about 1,300 or so, about a third of the department. They'll have more, reductions through voluntary retirements and those who took the buyout. But this is a trajectory they're on. They're trying to get this thing down to a bare minimum.
Right now, you just told us you're at the U.S. Justice Department. The purge is growing inside that department.
Yeah, for a few different reasons. I mean, first of all, the January 6 investigations have led to a review of more than 5,000 FBI agents and employees who had their fingerprints on those cases. Some of them are worried about retaliation. Some of them are worried about getting demoted or somehow having employment actions taken against them just for doing those cases, for following orders and investigating a violent attack on the Capitol. But it's bigger and broader than that. There have been a number of forced retirements or forced resignations in U.S. attorneys' offices, in the FBI field offices, including the then director of the FBI field office in New York, including the pardon attorney who works here out of Washington, but who fears, she says, that she might have been pushed out because she failed to intervene in a request to help Mel Gibson get his guns back, Gibson being a Trump ally. This continues to grow and metastasize, and the best consensus we're getting is that there's going to be more resignations, retirements, or demotions in the coming days and weeks.
Scott, we're having a bit of tariff whiplash over here, and I'm sure that's happening in Washington as well. 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum products set to go into effect today, announced overnight. There's the idea of retaliatory tariffs. What is the risk-reward proposition for President Trump and what he's facing with this?
Well, it's certainly leverage in some way, shape, or form for the administration to wield tariffs and get the attention, perhaps get some concessions from foreign leaders. It's jolted the stock market this week. You've seen that. But it has a unique impact in areas like ours. It's not just all of Wisconsin, but think about Michigan, think about Ohio. You think about these states that have huge components of auto parts or Canadian relations and interchanging business with Canadians. That this is already hitting a sore spot, and it's disruptive. I think whether disruption is good or bad is politically in the eye of the beholder. Trump supporters say this disruption is exactly why we elected him. Trump opponents say this disruption is costing people money and causing uncertainty. But I think it's pretty certain that things are being disrupted.
We're talking about the possibility of a government shutdown again. And every time I say, oh, goodness, here we go again, because it seems like we're talking about this, every year, even sooner in some cases. It seems like it always goes up to the deadline. Can you take us inside the vote to approve the stopgap bill to avoid a government shutdown?
This is different than it's been the last few times. We've had that Chicken Little warning of a government shutdown. This time it felt a little bit more serious, but the politics have changed at the White House, which means the politics have changed in Congress. The Trump team was able to whip Republicans into near unanimity to support this thing to keep the government open 6 more months. Typically, the defections have been among Republicans who don't like to vote for these spending bills that only kick the can down the curb. And there was grave concern that the Democrats were not going to bail Republicans out of a self-made problem if Republicans defected. But this time, Trump held the line, and the Republicans, even those who criticize these types of bills, all voted for it. We'll see how long that type of discipline and synchronicity lasts, but my sense is that it lasts as long as the president's approval is vibrant enough for Republicans to fall in line.
Scott, I thought I had read that there was one Republican who did not vote for the stopgap bill. I should say. I'm wondering if that is a career suicide type of move, right? In this day and age of Trump and his supporters kind of going against the president's wishes when you, in fact, are a Republican, is that dangerous?
Yep, it is. It's potentially fatal politically for most Republicans because the president would respond by threatening to support a primary challenger to you inside the Republican Party, and a Trump-endorsed primary challenger is a formidable opponent for any Republican. They'd raise money and they'd raise prodigious amounts of support. But this particular Republican, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, has found a sweet spot of defying his party leadership, and using it to infuse his career and his position with energy. He's a one-off. He's somebody who seems to be able to survive this and be bulletproof to whatever his leadership wants. It works for him and his constituencies. It's part of his brand. I'll tell you how rare a case he is. He was the only one to vote against it.
Scott, President Donald Trump kind of turned the White House lawn into a Tesla showroom the other day. He was out there and he's like, which one is the best? And then Elon's like, which one do you like? And I think he pointed to the red one. Did the president actually buy a Tesla? Is he actually going to drive it? What's the goal here?
Well, he can't drive, he says. I think he says because he's president. What he's going to do with this thing is beyond anybody's guesses, and I think it would be just anybody's guess. But there's a lot of concern about that whole scene, the theater behind that scene. That is a president of the United States championing one particular business, a business with which Elon Musk is deeply connected. So this is going to be a thing for a while. I think it's messy, but I also think it's an ink blot test where you think of it wherever your political instincts already lie.
Well, trying to view it from a couple of different angles, right? Tesla's stock has plunged, roughly 15% or so as the markets have taken a tumble. You've got dealerships being vandalized. You've got individual Tesla vehicles just out on the road being vandalized. And who knows who those people are and who they support. So it's almost like a way to have a Trump-endorsed auto brand maybe rebound the stock, maybe turn some people against their thoughts or ideas of vandalism.
Yeah, and also, maybe it boosts sales for people who have many tens of thousands of dollars already to buy one of these things. I'm not sure if you're seeing it so much in Milwaukee, but in Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of pushback among the locals, there's a lot of people driving around with bumper stickers on their Tesla that say, I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy.
Right.
That bumper sticker is all over the place here. It's probably rarer in Wisconsin, but it's sending a message, isn't it, that we supported buying a Tesla, but we're suddenly concerned about the image of this company and how its owner has aligned with the president. We'll see if there's political implications, but I do know from the latest CNN polling, Musk polls terribly with the public, and he is tethered quite closely to a president whose approval rating is vulnerable to it.
I haven't personally seen those bumper stickers, but we've definitely reported on them here. It's one thing to put a bumper sticker on and say, I bought this before all of this went down, right? But it's a whole nother ballgame to start vandalizing people's cars or showrooms. I mean, that's just frustrating, but that's where we are in the world today in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, everything now has the potential of being combustible, doesn't it? I mean, everything, even things that would seem to be as small or unrelated as that. It's such a toxic moment here. It's hard to put it into words because it's hard for a lot of these people inside these government agencies to have conversations with each other, because a lot of these agencies have both political staff and career staff, and they have to work together. And sometimes that's hard at this moment when things are so fractious. But I would also watch one thing. Watch somebody running against this, running for cooling temperatures down, cooling off the heat. You're not going to see that in the Supreme Court races in Wisconsin, but you will see that next year. Let's see if somebody with that type of plank can make headway in the midterm elections.
All right, Scott, it's 1:48 in the nation's capital. What is the rest of your day like?
It used to be easier to answer that question. We expect some announcements from the FBI today, potentially some news out of there about either new arrests or new policies. But it comes so fast. The bigger concern isn't what to cover. The bigger concern is what we're not covering. And that's a balancing act every day now. And you see it from your vantage point. We have it in droves here.
Absolutely. That's why we rely on you to help us through the process. We always appreciate it. Scott McFarland, CBS congressional correspondent. Check in again next week, Scott. Have a great day.
Thanks, Scott.
Look forward to it.
It's 12:49 on WTMJ.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Comfort Awnings and Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
For over 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Greg Matzek here. Do not let that busted garage door get you down. Make a call to Geist. They will get you back in the game. They've got an amazing supply and inventory of doors and openers for every budget. Brands like CHI and LiftMaster right there in their showroom off Barker Road in Brookfield. And if your project is of the custom variety, Geist can help you with that as well. They'll do whatever it takes to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, visit GeistDoors.com. They'll handle any project, big or small. We had an issue with the stripping around the perimeter of our garage door entryway. Geist came out and fixed it. Now we're back in the game. At some point, I'm sure we'll need a new opener, new doors, and we'll call Geist. Don't think twice. Call Geist and visit GeistDoors.com.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Okay, here's a question for everybody out there listening. Do you have a nice boss? Is your boss nice?
Yes.
Yeah, we can say that here.
Good relationship.
But this is for everybody else out there, because ours was an easy way to answer. And I'm not sucking up, because I'm not a suck up.
Well, I've had a bad one, too. I've had a couple.
Well, listen to this. Milwaukee ranks number 6 for cities with the nicest bosses. How about that? People in Milwaukee have some of the nicest bosses in the entire country. Only 9% say their boss's tone is harsh. Only 13% say their boss curses at people. 43% say their boss is never mean. 57% say their boss never uses harsh language. So, where are the mean bosses, Greg? Do you have a guess? Did I already tell you?
Where around the country? The cities, right? We're talking cities?
Yep.
Nasty bosses. I would guess New York. I would guess Miami.
Okay. Well,
I would guess Las Vegas.
Chicago, Illinois, and Virginia Beach, Virginia are home to the meanest bosses in the U.S.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Virginia Beach kind of surprised me a little bit, too.
Okay.
Food services, construction, and manufacturing are the top 3 industries with the meanest bosses. And this is hard to hear. Nearly 1 in 3 Americans have seen their boss insult or humiliate an employee in front of others. I feel like I have actually seen that.
Yeah,
That's
not effective leadership when you undress an employee in front of other people.
1 in 4 Americans have considered quitting their job to get away from their boss.
Well, that I've seen too, right? So think about what makes you happy about your role. Some people are willing to put up with a boss they don't really get along with because, well, maybe they're just making too much money, right? Or they've got it too good in other aspects of their job. Some will just punt on that altogether. They'll bet on themselves. If I'm making good money here, I can make good money somewhere else and likely have a better quality of life and maybe less stress because I'm not worried about the person who is supposedly helping me develop in my career.
I've had a lot of great bosses throughout my career. I've also had some bosses that I have liked that some other people have not, and I would call those challenging bosses. They wanted you to bring a lot, and I brought a lot, so I think that was okay. So I would consider those people challenging. I like them, but not everybody did. There was one boss a long time ago that I would say, I maybe had one bad boss throughout my career, but it was also that person's first time in the boss position, and I would venture that person has learned a lot since that time.
Maybe overdid it a little bit on the upfront.
That would be my guess.
I tend to appreciate leaders who ask you what you need to do your job successfully every day instead of coming with, don't do that anymore. Right?
Sure.
Different tone, different sort of presentation, right? I got your back is more the thought process behind the first of that.
The industries with the meanest bosses, and I mentioned a couple of them, food services, construction, manufacturing. Number 4 is retail. Number 5, media, entertainment, and creative arts. So I thought you might want to know that one, Greg.
Interesting.
Yeah.
12:56 on WTMJ. Enjoy the rest of your day at work with or without your boss. News is next, followed by Spanning the State.
Wisconsin winters are unpredictable.
This is history. Never had a tornado touchdown in February.
We keep you updated on blizzards.
Winter storm warning has been issued for all of southeast Wisconsin, and it's going to get really, really dicey.
Blackout.